Because one of the most important things in this world is for the Igbo people to remain who they are, Israelites. I will keep talking about it almost every day. I repeat what I said, because one of the most important things, not just for the Igbos, but for everybody in this world, is for the Igbos to remain who they are, the Israelites. I will continue to say it, even if I'm the last man standing that does not deny it. I will say it till the end. By the way, I started to become amused when I see people that deny that the Igbos descended from the biblical Israelites. The Jews, the groups that retain their identity, the Jews, we are mentioned even in the New Testament, and people are denying that they descended from the Israelites today. The Ashkenazi Jews, they are descendants. The Sephardi Jews, they are descendants of those people that we are mentioned in the New Testament and called the Jews. There are people, some of them are even Jews, who are denying that they descended from the Israelites. So how much more the Igbos, whom you have to get a good education to understand that when you say Igbo, you are saying Ibiri. Okay, Ibiri. Ibiri achi Ibiri nta. How much more the Igbos? If people can deny that people who were mentioned in the New Testament, people whom 6 million of them were killed because they were Jews, if people can doubt that they were Israelites, how much more the Igbos, whom you have to struggle to recognize, who, by the way, would be the biggest fools to join in the denial because 3 million of them were murdered because they were Jews. Their remaining Israelites is extremely important, so it will continue. And whenever I see people moving in the right direction, I'm happy. Like when I woke up this morning, and my sister Dezenna Atomanya had tagged me to a message, and after reading it, I had to reproduce a text of my own message, and I said, we will never be liked by most because of who we are. The people that hate us simply because we are Igbos. The Igbos have not done anything that other people have not done a million times. But Igbos are hated because Igbos are Igbos. Igbos are not sent today. But anything wrong you see Igbos doing today, prostitution, it is the culture of the others. It is the culture of the others to be prostitutes. Committing crimes, it is their culture to commit crimes. Igbos copy these things and they do worse when they copy. But even though we are hated, we have a responsibility to like ourselves. I'm unhappy that hating Igbos has become an industry. That is why the guy from Cameroon came up and began to soil the waters. The Ghanaians have not started to hate us. They are rising up against an Igbo in error. But the Cameroonian came up to make content money and began to lie against the Igbos because of who we are. I'm working that Igbos don't join in hating themselves by becoming what we are not supposed to be. Some who are good in themselves will like us. I know people who are not Igbos who like us. And they're increasing in numbers. For our sake and those non-Igbo who are just fair and question why the Igbo people must be persecuted forever, let us go back to being the best of us. Every Igbo in the world ought to be like the greatest Okibiri, the son of Amram and Yochebed. I'm talking about Moses. He was the best Israelite. He practiced authentic Israelite biblical Omenana. Moses called his religion Omenana. That's what he called it. We have almost zero resources. Now we have almost nothing. We don't have even a state. And after all the wealth we produced for 100 years was destroyed, we worked very hard again, raised some money, but because we were scattered, we invested this money outside our two ancestral homelands. The Igbos have two ancestral homelands. One is the land of Israel, one is what we call Igbo land. But if we become like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, Joshua, Samuel, Isaiah, Elijah, Jeremiah, Deborah, the Lord Chukwu will give us everything back. Key to the above: work and study of who we are. We must keep on studying who we are. We are studying things that are not us. We are linear descendants of the biblical Ibiri. That's why traditionally, the Francis Duru, who is a part of this story, will be called Okibiri. And Adeze Natumanya will be called Ibiriachi. And my son, who is 9 years, will be called Ibirinta. That's what we call ourselves. The English word Hebrew was pronounced Ibiri by Moses, Aaron, Miriam, etc. This word Hebrew is English. If Moses wanted to pronounce it, he would say Ibiri. Professor Duru and Adeze, you made today to be a bright one for me. Why? The Igbo must try to live like the Hebrew or continue to decline and be oppressed forever. May God forbid. The people of God will not be oppressed forever. They will rise up again to tell the world how it is supposed to be. How you will live on your land without encroaching on that of the others. And as long as the Lord Chukwu gives me strength, this is going to continue. You can hit the subscribe button if you are moved, if you want to be a part of this movement that is a revolution for the good. Thank you.